Welcome back to the Ed Show, and thanks for watching tonight, live from Wall Street. The Occupy Wall Street movement is about to reach critical mass, and the Republicans can't do anything to stop it. An estimated 30,000 protesters joined this protest movement today. Big labor is now officially on board. Some Democrats in Congress are getting on board. I was with the people as they marched this afternoon. Here's what I saw.
The priorities of government, both on a state level and in Washington, are absolutely upside down and against what working families need. The government is no longer for working people. The government is for the wealthiest people in this country, and that has to end, and that's what these protests are about.
We have nurses here who every day in their hospitals at the bedside are encountering patients who are destitute, who have to choose between medicine and food, who have to choose between medicine and paying the rent.
This is not about a party. This is about a movement to take it back to the people. Give us something. You know, we're supposedly the middle class. I don't feel middle class.
Why are you here?
Why am I here? My husband was out of work for 18 months. Bank of America tried to foreclose on our house. We never missed a payment. We battled with them for 18 months. We had to start our own green jobs company to find a job.
So this is about jobs?
Yes.
This is about change in America?
Yes.
This is about jobs for the middle class, working people. We have to bring back jobs for the middle class and get the college kids back to work. We're all in this together.
They're taking over our lives. Everything they do is sucking money out of the middle class. It's sucking money. They're not going to give up till there's nothing left to suck out anymore.
Is this America's middle class march?
You bet it is.
It's about all of us prospering together. When the distribution of wealth in this country was more even, everybody made out better. When it got skewed up to the higher levels, all of us suffered. We're in it together or we're not in it at all.
There is no doubt the Republican Party is afraid of the 99% message, and now they are attacking the protesters.
When I was 10 years old, I was more self-sufficient than this parade of human debris calling itself Occupy Wall Street.
Well, I said on your show, and it was picked up all over the place, a lot of them are down there for dating purposes. They're down there. It's true. They're down there to meet people.
I don't have facts to back this up, but I happen to believe that these demonstrations are planned and orchestrated to distract from the failed policies of the Obama administration. Don't blame Wall Street. Don't blame the big banks. If you don't have a job and you're not rich, blame yourself.
I'm just trying to get myself to occupy the White House.
The more outrageous the right wing talks about this protest and the protests that are taking place across the country, the more of an impact these people are going to have. The vast unknown about all of this is, what does it mean and where does it go? Will the Obama administration and the Obama campaign be able to turn this energy into votes next November? Are they even satisfied with President Obama? You have a Congress right now with an 11% approval rating. I think you can start with the other 89% right here in Lower Manhattan. They're frustrated about no action on jobs. They're frustrated about not a very good health care bill. They're frustrated about jobs going overseas. They're frustrated and very angry about who is gaining in this economy and who's being left behind. This is the official start of the 2012 campaign. If their message is heard by some candidate, this just might be the movement that starts a major change in this country. Get your cell phones out. I want to know what you think. Tonight's question, do you support the Occupy Wall Street protests? Text A for yes, text B for no to 622-639. We're bringing the results later on in the show. Joining me right now is Justin Elliott, reporter for Salon.com, and Laura Flanders, host of Free Speech TV. Great to have both of you with us tonight. Justin, the definition of this protest is starting to really take shape. You're reporting to America tonight. What would you say about it?
Look, I think there's a debate going on here. I mean, we saw with the unions today. One of the most popular chants was, how do we end the deficit, end the wars, tax the rich? But I think there's another strain here that is not ready to define goals yet. They want this thing to grow just around sort of generalized anger at Wall Street. So I think it's still sort of being determined.
Laura, when you take a look at this crowd, how it started, how it's gained, and how it has grown nationally, the inequity in the economy seems to be what has really spearheaded all of this.
Absolutely. I mean, we saw 27 cities with Occupy Wall Street demonstrations this weekend, and that is growing by the hour. There were 9 people arrested at Fannie Mae in Los Angeles today, and more in Chicago at the Federal Reserve. These folks are not going away, and I think they've given people license to say, you know what, we wanted more change than just a change of personnel in the White House. We needed change in our lives. And they've also opened up a space here for people to talk about this country and this whole planet being on a crash course with the ecology that we have to handle and with the human systems of human relations. I spoke to people who are losing their homes, losing their health care, facing no jobs in their future. And as you mentioned, this is election season kicking off. They're saying it's not about one party or another. We've got to get bigger. We've got to think bigger. We've got to build a better vision of what this country's promise can be about. And that's what you're hearing here. Maybe it's a little inchoate, but that's because it's thinking really big.
What about the unions now being involved? Does this give them a bit of credibility that they might not have had before?
Absolutely. I mean, the unions, what happened here is bottom-up movement created space for unions to come and join in. The unions sat back like a lot of America saying, is this going to last? Is this something real? They stayed here long enough against the media that ignored them, against the disdain that was poured on them, long enough for the unions to say, you know what, we're getting on board. And that's huge because that gives a whole other group of people license to join this movement to change not just who's in the White House or change any individual electoral result, but to change the direction of our economy, because that's what we've got to do to save our lives.
Justin Elliott, what is the political aftermath of this? I hear the crowd shouting, they're not going away. How long will this last?
I mean, I think to some extent that depends on Mayor Bloomberg and NYPD. I mean, NYPD, I saw easily hundreds of officers today, scores of vans. There was at least 3 NYPD helicopters in the air, but they let this march go on, and the people in the square have been here for about 2.5 weeks. There's no sign that they're leaving. This thing's growing, even though there are no well-defined goals yet. It's caught the imagination of the public, and it's still growing. So, I mean, I think it's impossible to predict right now where it goes.
Well, many of the themes that I heard today, Justin, were that of the Democratic platform. Not to overstate or simplify the frustration of people, but some of the major issues are right from the Democratic platform. Are they the winners here?
Maybe. I think there's a mix. I mean, I haven't found many Obama supporters in this crowd. I mean, as I said, one of the chants I kept hearing is, how do we cut the deficit, end the wars, tax the rich? I mean, Obama hasn't done either of those things.
I think they're Obama supporters. I do. I just think they're frustrated Obama supporters. Enough wasn't done.
Perhaps there's a strain of Obama supporters. There's a strain of Obama supporters, but there's a strain of people who are far to the left of Obama here and are very dissatisfied.
I was here all day for Free Speech TV, and what I heard is that people wanted change. They wanted an end to war. They got more war. They didn't want to see drone attacks, even taking out people who were considered to be threats to this country. They didn't want to see a little bit of healthcare reform. They needed to see profit seeking out of healthcare. So they're frustrated, and they're creating the movement that 4 years ago was channeled into electoral politics. This is being channeled into a global movement, and I think that's what's exciting about it, because we need global change.
So where's the change? I mean, let me ask you this. Look, they're not going to change the government of the United States, but they can change who runs it.
They can change who runs it, and they can raise the question, which I think is what's happening here, that we need to think bigger. I heard from hedge fund folks today and from stockbrokers who said, we understand this economy doesn't work. We are aware that this recession is longer and deeper than we anticipated. Simply recovering this economy is not going to do it. It's not going to do it for these folks. It's not going to do it for the 99%. It's not even going to do it for the 1%, because we're on a crash course with the planet.
All right. Justin Elliott, Laura Flanders, great to have both of you with us tonight. Thanks for sticking around. I appreciate it so much. Coming up in Psycho Talk, the hypocrites over at Fox News who just won't accept what is happening down here in Lower Manhattan and around the country. And later, Congresswoman Betty Sutton of Ohio and Larry Hanley of the ATU union, and more on the protesters. Stay with us. We're right back on The Ed Show on MSNBC.